The movie begins with a phone ringing, and when Casey Becker answers it, she's greeted with the sexy voice of an inquisitive stranger.
What number is this?
What number are you trying to reach?
I don't know.
Thinking it's a wrong number, she hangs up only to have him call back, and this happens a few times until they're chatting like old college buddies about their favorite scary movies. Eventually, Casey gets creeped out and the stranger goes from sexy to scary.
No, you listen, you little bitch. If you hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
He tells her he's outside her house and has her boyfriend Steve tied up on the patio. Then, since he wants Casey to kill it at Bar Horror Trivia Night, he starts drilling her on questions about the genre.
Name the killer in Friday the 13th.
And since the kill count wasn't around to give Casey a proper education, she wrongly answers,
Jason! Jason! Jason!
As punishment, she turns the patio lights back on to see that Steve's been gutted, his intestines dangling in the breeze as he dies. I feel like people often forget about this kill, and it's a pretty solid one to start the movie with. With a chair through the window and a flaming tray of popcorn, shit's totally hit the fan now, and after a well-crafted cat and mouse sequence, Casey makes a run for safety when she sees her parents on their way home. She doesn't quite make it though, with Ghostface catching up to her and stabbing her in the chest and choking her on the ground. Casey still fights back, but unable to call out to her parents for help, Ghostface knocks her down and finishes the job. Her parents overhear her dying breaths on the phone as Ghostface drags her away, and they ultimately find her body strung up on a tree, her insides dangling down just like Steve's. Audiences were shocked that Drew Barrymore was killed right off the bat, and that's just one part of what makes this entire opening sequence an instant classic. Hard to beat this kind of kickoff. Next we meet Sidney Prescott, who's into MS-DOS and her super fucking oily boyfriend, Billy Loomis. Seriously dude, wash that hair. They're having some intimacy problems because Billy wants to get it in, but Sidney isn't feeling it. Probably has something to do with the fact that her mom, Maureen Prescott, was raped and murdered 1 year before this. So yeah, Billy, maybe some things are more important than getting a nut off. Everything is crazy at school the next day, with local reporter Gail Weathers reporting in her finest dirty highlighter colored dress. Sid's best friend Tatum catches her up about the murders, and Tatum's brother Deputy Dewey helps interview Sidney in the principal's office. Principal Himbry's all like, "Hey, let me touch your chin all weird." But other than that, the cops are sympathetic to Sidney since, you know, that awful fucking thing that happened to her mom. After school, Sid and her entourage hang out by the town's tribute to the Friends Fountain. In addition to Billy and Tatum, there's Tatum's boyfriend Stu, played by Matthew Lillard, who gives it 110%, and Randy Meeks, the geeky guy who's obsessed with horror movies. They treat the murders with about as much respect as high schoolers treat most things.
Did you really put her liver in the mailbox? Because I heard that they found her liver in the mailbox.
Liver alone. Ow, liver. It was a joke.
Sidney goes home and takes a little couch nap until she's awoken by a phone call with our sexy voice stranger.
Scary night, isn't it? With the murders and all, it's like right out of a horror movie or something.
Then the movie just fucking goes for it and has him attack her in her own home. He almost gets her too, but she fights back because, as we'll find out throughout the series, Sidney Prescott don't take no shit. She does run up the stairs, however, despite having just given a long-winded criticism of that trope in horror movies.
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
See how self-aware this movie is? Meta! She locks him out of her room and hits up 911 on her computer, which I guarantee not a single damn person did in 1996, before Ghostface suddenly disappears. He does that a lot. Billy shows up at her window with some excellent suspicious timing and then drops a cell phone. Since this was before we ever had a term like smartphone addiction, Sidney is frightened and confused by Billy's technology, and he gets arrested under suspicion of being a witch. I mean murderer. Gail Weathers shows up a bit too late for any action, and we find out she is not a very nice lady.
I know that you're about 50 pounds overweight, but when I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass now!
The sheriff interrogates Billy and his werewolf-looking dad, and the whole thing becomes a media circus, causing a confrontation between Gal and Sidney, during which Sid brings up the book Gal's been writing about her mom's murder.
I'll send you a copy.
Sidney goes home with Tatum for safety, but gets another call from Ghostface, leading her to conclude that Billy is in fact an innocent, sweet little boy. The next day, Sid and Tatum go to school, with Tatum wearing an outfit that just, like, is that allowed in a high school? Sid talks to Gal again, this time without punching her in the face, and in a series of uncomfortably close shots, Gal tells Sidney that Cotton Weary, the guy currently in jail for Maureen Prescott's murder, is an innocent man. Sid's left
took control of everything, taking his crown and throne and reshaping the world into his own dark image. The people were rounded up and turned into villain soldiers as those who resisted were placed in crisis antenna, which fueled Perpetua as